Welcome back to the There Will Be Bond podcast, episode 71. I'm Pete Brooker. Over there is Rob Smith.
Hello.
How are we doing today, Rob?
Very well, thank you.
Very good. Well, Rob's got some weather, but we're going to put that right at the end of the show, just in case people are listening 5 years, 10 years down the line and don't give a crap about the weather in the year 2025, which is understandable. Rob, we're going to be covering minutes 81 and 82 of Casino Royale this week, but before we get into that... we are also going to talk about the James Bond auditions
that appeared.
That have leaked out through some erroneous YouTube site called Ron South. That's where I found it. Anyway.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so you got Sam Worthington doing his James Bond audition, a guy called Anthony Starr, who you've never heard of, I've never heard of, Rupert Friend, who I've heard of, but you haven't heard of?
No, I don't know any of these people.
And Henry Cavill, of course.
Who
now,
we all know.
This got released last week, just as we put out last week's episode, so we are going to be the last people to officially talk about it. But I think it's worth breaking down a bit, Rob, because, look, we've been very Slim Jim on Bond news for a long time, and I feel like this is probably the biggest Bond news we've had for ages.
Well, it is, but it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
It's news in as much as we haven't seen this before, but it's old news because these were recorded like 20 years ago. So why are they suddenly surfacing now? And why all at once? We got the Henry Cavill one first that everyone was going nuts over, and then within 24 hours a whole load more appeared.
Yeah.
So it's all very strange, wasn't it?
It's quite surreal. I thought it was a joke when it first came out, but and parts of it was.
Maybe I was going to say maybe it is.
Well, we're going to get into before that. We'll do some minutes and we'll do some anything Bondian, Rob.
Oh yes.
Have you been up to anything Bondian this week?
Yes, I've booked a holiday.
Okay.
And I know you book a holiday every week, so this is not very exciting for you. But I don't often book holidays.
I don't think Bond books holidays either. I think
he gets
M
sent
does
on
it,
missions,
right?
doesn't he?
Moneypenny does it all from.
Well, I'm off to Istanbul end of May, so I'm very excited about that. So that is very Bondian, and it's obviously the trip that I mentioned briefly last week. So Martin Mulder on the tracks of 007, he's organised this 5-day trip, 4 nights to Istanbul, 5-star hotel, to take in the locations of From Rush for Love, What Is Not Enough, and Skyfall. And there's going to be walking tour, there's going to be bus tours, there's going to be a boat trip down the Bosphorus, and it all looks amazing.
Are you going on top of the Grand Bazaar?
I doubt we'll go on top of it. I doubt we'll be allowed to do that.
That'd be a question I'd put to Martin, and I'm not even
We'll
going.
see.
I'm going to ask him.
We'll see. He always has something cool up his sleeve, so who knows? But yeah, and several of my friends are going as well, so I'm really pumped for that now. At least it's something to look forward to in these cold, dark, damp winter days, nights we're suffering.
Yes.
But we'll go there later.
Well, we've got the. You really just want to talk about weather. That's
I do.
it. You don't even want to talk about Bond.
I'm British. We're obsessed with the weather. Anyway, we'll come to that later. Let's crack on.
So, well, I've.
What have you done? Have you done
Thank
any
you.
Bondian?
Yeah, thank you. I'll ask myself the question.
Yeah.
Good job. I've got it written down. Well, I went to scout some Universal Exports locations.
Oh yes.
Yeah, this week. So I went down to Trafalgar Square for the Living Daylights.
Yes.
Moment.
And you had a little plaque, didn't you?
Yeah, my brother makes these plaques, these Universal Export plaques.
Yeah.
Now, the one in the Living Daylights is just this huge circular kind of sign that pokes out from this window.
What is that building? Is it like a little takeaway shop or something? What is it? I can't even think now.
So it is the Malaysian Tourist Board.
That's right. Yes.
Shop.
Yes.
Stroke centre.
Yeah, because I took a mate of mine from Los Angeles there in 2022. Yeah, came for the 60th, and we did all like London.
Did you go inside?
No.
Well, anyway, so I went.
Did you go inside?
Yeah, I went inside. Well, I wanted to see what it was
you do?
like.
Just knock on the door, and say, "Hey, can I come in? I'm a Bond fan."
they have to buzz you in. Luckily, the guy, I was the only one in there. This guy was on the phone talking business, and I was videoing it, so I was mooching around. I'm going to bung it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then he puts the phone down. He sees me like videoing everything. Goes, "Can I help you?" I was like, "Well, what's going on in Malaysia these days?" I had to kind of fudge my way through a load of questions about Malaysian tourism and like, is it worth me going and all that stuff. And I think after a while, he just twigged that I wasn't there to go see the Petronas Towers, or I just said,
Oh
well,
my God.
I think also when I told him, do you know that this used to be in a Bond film, this place? Oddly enough, though, he said that no one has actually ever asked him that.
Well, because they don't go in, do they? Because they don't film inside in the movie. It's just outside.
Well, he told me they did do some filming inside. I don't know if it was for the
Really?
Living Daylights. It's not in the film, as in
No.
he doesn't like. Actually,
No.
Bond doesn't even walk to that building.
No,
it's
just an establishing
yeah,
shot.
and then
Yeah,
it cuts to Timmy smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Cigarette even.
Yeah.
So anyway, did that. That was all fine. Name was Terence. We spoke a bit of Bond. I showed him the map, and
Cool.
and I told him, look, find out what was filmed in here. And he goes, I'll get right on it. I said,
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
I then wandered down past Downing Street, past the 55
yes.
Spectre building.
Down to the old War Office.
Yeah.
To the Raffles Hotel.
Yeah,
'cause
we're going there.
Yeah, we are next week. Yeah, because that's View to a Kill, isn't it? When it opens up, and you see the horse coming across from Downing Street, and it zooms up to the window, doesn't it? And then it cuts to Moneypenny in her ascot get-up.
That's right.
And I think you see again in License to Kill as that quick establishing shot where it just cuts back to London briefly from Mexico, and you see a Ford Fiesta driving down Whitehall, and I think it's that building you see on the right.
So that's also Fleming's building as well, though, right?
Yeah.
He worked out.
Yeah.
Okay, so walked past there, but I wanted to get the other Universal Exports place opposite Big Ben. So in Honor
Majesty's,
Majesty's, you got the reflection
Yeah.
of Houses of Parliament, Big Ben, and a guy walking towards it who turned out to be
Peter Hunt.
Peter Hunt, right?
It was, yeah.
And I like it, actually. They asked him, why do we have to have a plaque here? And he goes, because it's in the book. So I thought, that's quite cool. I was trying to find the exact reflection place. I've been told it's the HM Treasury, but it didn't quite line up. So I think I found the spot. Anyway, it's on YouTube. You'll see it in a couple of days. But what I was thinking whilst I was there, there's a queue of people trying to get their photo taken outside the red telephone boxes, right? Because it's one of the best spots in London.
This is Parliament Square?
Yeah, you're in Parliament Square.
Churchill.
So you got
statue.
You got the statue, but you've also got Big Ben, and you've got everything and a nice angle of Westminster Bridge as well going up there. But you have about 4 or 5 different red telephone boxes in the square, and a queue.
Really?
Just queues of people.
Tourists.
Queues of chicks. All chicks. All chicks. Fucking lined up to get their photo. And I was just... Because I like to people watch. I'm just studying this behaviour. I'm like... So you have this one girl who's getting all these pictures taken. Someone's like being the slave and taking the picture, and she's doing all these different angles.
They've got those stick things,
Yeah.
those selfie sticks.
Well, so there's someone taking a picture of it.
Okay,
right?
yeah. But sometimes
And
they
then-
all like get in a group with the selfie stick, all the tourists. Oh God, I hate those things. Anyway, carry on.
What I found amazing was that despite there being a massive queue, this one girl would just do all these photos, take about 2 or 3 minutes getting these photos, and then she would go and look at the phone, look at the photos on the phone, give it back to the girl, her friend, and take more pictures, as if those 50 fucking
God,
photos
you're joking. While
weren't good
everyone's
enough.
queuing up, waiting.
And I honestly don't get where people get this self-confidence from. I mean,
Yeah. I'd be like, shit, you've got to be quick here. There's people waiting.
just
Can't
get
I-
one and done.
Yeah.
One and done. Get it.
Yeah.
Get it. Yeah. Like
My
a
God.
Polaroid. Psh, out of there. Look, if I'm queuing up at the gents, if I take a piss in the gents, and I know someone's behind me wanting to take a piss, I'll probably do half in the urinal and half in my jeans on the way out. I'll be like, it's all yours, buddy. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. There's a toilet. It's yours.
Yeah, but we're a different generation, Pete.
I also thought that the red telephone boxes, right? Now, if you went back in time and explained to Alexander Bell that when he had just at the point when he invented the telephone, right, that eureka moment, and who is it next door? Is it Graham Bell? No, someone else. He's speaking to someone else on the other end of the blower, isn't he? But at that moment when they established the technology, just explain to him what red telephone boxes are and go, look, red telephone boxes are going to be invented also. People are going to speak to each other all over the world in these boxes. 1920 something or whatever, these boxes are going to be invented. And he'd be like, wow, my invention, my vision, I can see it overtaking the world. And then just fast forward him, transport him to one of those red telephone boxes and just say, look, now the year is 2025 and all it's being used for is advertising prostitutes sex, and narcissistic chicks needing pictures of themselves taken for fucking Instagram.
Have they actually got telephones in them, working telephones? Because a lot of them don't. A lot of them have like charging points for your mobiles now, so they don't even have phones.
There's only like 2,000 or 3,000 working telephone boxes left in the UK.
Right. Okay.
And
Interesting.
Working
stats.
as in for
Yeah.
as a telephone.
Yeah. And they still need those phone card things. Don't even know if you can still buy phone cards.
I don't know. They should go back and do them with
and
like the
find
rotary
them.
phone. Like you put 10p in and you go.
Yeah, the pips. The
Yeah.
pips come through. You have to put more money in. Yeah. They were cool.
I used to. Did you ever phone up a girl that you fancied?
From a phone box?
Yeah.
No.
And ask her. Obviously didn't, but I had to. Because I didn't want my mum and dad listening in as I phone up this girl.
Oh, I see.
And so I'd have to like go down to the
phone
bus
box.
stop and get into the phone box and like do a couple of deep breaths, slap myself in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
There wasn't a mirror there, but you know what I mean. And then you'd phone up, and then you get through to the dad. Then you get the dad's like, "Can you?"
You'd have to have enough money on you so you don't get cut off.
Oh, it's just painful. People nowadays will never experience that pain.
Clue.
They'll just text. They go, "Hey, how's life?" Yeah,
I know.
no,
Not a clue. We. Yeah, I mean, in a way, yeah, you were under pressure then, weren't you? You couldn't just send a text. You had to make a phone call and not go to pieces on the other end of the phone. You've got to sound confident.
Sound confident in a phone box and also have enough money to complete the call. Oh, anyway. Shall we crack on with one of the minutes, Rob?
I think we should.
Okay, so this is minute 81, and it's brought to you by Wild and Heart. Wild and Heart razors. How's your shaving regime, Rob?
It's okay. I've got a beard. Just trim it every day.
With an electric razor?
Yeah.
You trim it every day?
Yeah.
Nice.
Of course.
Yeah. But you have one level and just... Do you do it on the go when you're walking around the house?
No. I do it in the morning after I've cleaned my teeth.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Anyway, these are razors that are not electric. These are proper razors. I shouldn't fucking go off script, really, should I?
No, you shouldn't.
Every luxury razor is manufactured from stainless steel, polished by hand, and with a 2-year guarantee. Proudly made in Great Britain. Use a Field Marshal razor for an indulgent luxury shave, finished with a splash of Florist number 89, of course. With discount code WH20, you will receive 20% discount on Field Marshal and other razors at the Wild and Heart website. Yes, links in the show note. Right, where did we leave the minute, Rob? Well, I believe it was the Stairwell fight that's about to go.
The beginning of the fight.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry. Oh, fucking... This is... Oh, no. Rob. This is why you should do this. You should... I'm talking, reading, doing the advertising and doing all these. You should do something.
Well, I will do if you ask me to.
Okay, all right. Oh, silly me. All right, here we go. So, yeah, we left it with the Stairwell fight. Stephen's bodyguard, he's gone flying over the railing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen himself has come through, and it's now him and Bond in the stairwell.
One-on-one.
Here we go. Ready? Couple of elbow slams. Oh, Rob! Got it. Nailed it. How about that? Crikey, it's all kicking off, isn't it?
Certainly is.
So we freeze it there at the end of the minute. Obanno's Stephen, he's reaching for the gun. He's in the hold already. Bond has got him in the... Well, what kind of hold, we don't know.
No.
Do we? But we'll perhaps get into that in the next minute.
Yeah.
What do you think about this minute, Rob? Your takeaways? Climactic.
Well, it's pretty brutal, isn't it?
Savage.
It's pretty brutal. We haven't seen anything like this for a little while. I was trying to think whether it was more brutal than the From Russia with Love train fight and the GoldenEye fight with all the headbutts that were going on with Sean Bean. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
They actually cut the headbutts initially for the VHS release.
Did they?
They did, and they were only put back in for the DVD release in 2000.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, things have moved on since then. So this is full on, isn't it? And it's 1-on-1, isn't it? Because that guy goes all the way down the bottom of the stairwell.
That is crazy. So if you think about banning a headbutt, editing out a headbutt versus Jack Nicholson slapping the crap out of Faye Dunaway in Chinatown.
Okay.
If you,
I have seen it. It was a very long time ago.
But if you think about it, just what that portrays, just a headbutt is it's a push. It's brutal, yes, but it's not.
Yeah, but they were different certificates, weren't they? I think Chinatown might be an 18.
Really?
I think it might be. Yeah,
maybe.
Certainly a 15, and they wanted GoldenEye to be a 12, didn't they?
And what was GoldenEye?
So it was a 12, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they couldn't. They couldn't have another 15 after License to Kill, so they had to. They were really careful with the censor for Bond films. So that's why. Okay, but when the DVD came out, I think that is, in fact, that might even be a 15. I think the DVD. I think that might be a different certificate to when it was first released. I could be wrong.
Chinatown is rated R, which means it's intended for adults.
Yeah.
So is R like the equivalent
that's like
of 18?
Yeah. No, that's full on Chinatown. That's a full on. I mean, he cuts his fucking nose, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like that's not for kids.
No, but I've heard that he cut himself shaving. Getting back to Wild and Hot, no, cut himself shaving in real life. And rather than wait like for weeks on end for this to heal, they just wrote it
into the story.
Yeah, they wrote it. They
I didn't know
crowbarred
that.
it in.
Oh, well, okay.
All right, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean things change though, isn't it? I mean, we'll talk about it in the next minute as well, the amount of blood that there is. But yeah, for me, this is brutal, and I was watching it thinking, have we seen anything quite as brutal as this before? And it's interesting that there's a lot of Daniel in this, that you can see it's Daniel. I mean, he did have a stunt double as well, who apparently had a broken arm at the time he was doing this, so maybe...
What, Daniel did?
No, the stunt double.
Oh, right.
But so maybe he was quite restricted with what he could actually do as a result. So we do see a lot of Daniel, but they like all the walls and stuff were made of rubber.
Yeah.
So when they were throwing them around, weren't they? So that it would be less painful for Daniel. And I think the stairs were upholstered. Peter Lamont had done that so that it was obviously when he's falling it would hurt, but not quite so much.
Do you know what? It would have been good to know that was a set before I went to the Grand Hotel pub.
Oh,
went on this huge sleuthing mission to try and find these stairs. Not just that hotel as well. Went all around Carla Vivare and said, "Can I see your stairwell?"
I think you can pretty much guarantee 90% of any indoor stuff in a Bond film is a set.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it's good, and it's all handheld as well. It's very Bourne like this, isn't it? It's a lot of shaky handheld stuff. And in fact, there is a Bourne film it reminded me of as a stairwell fight where he goes all the way down to the bottom and lands on that.
That's the first one.
Is that the first one?
Yeah. That's the end of the first one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they'll clearly...
He kicks him through the banister. Well, he doesn't fight on the stairwell, though. He has a shootout. Kicks him through the banister.
So that's Identity. I couldn't remember which one that was.
Yeah. I remember seeing that in the cinema and people laughed at that bit.
Really?
It's insane, yeah.
It's bloody good though. They've clearly been influenced by Bourne with this scene.
Oh,
clearly.
Yeah, no, well, not this scene. The whole film is influenced by Bourne. But the tone of it had
particularly this scene, this fight, I think, is very, very Bourne.
No. Oh, what you think? Well, the fight.
I think so. Well, that's my takeaway. So you can disagree with me.
Well, the fight itself, there's some really nice moves when he gets the jacket off, and he kind of uses his tux jacket as or his dinner jacket, I should say, as a shield.
It's very well edited, this scene.
And then he puts his head through the window as well.
It's not like Quantum where you're struggling to see what's going on.
That's true, yeah.
You know?
It's not, you're not having a headache watching this. Yeah.
No, you can actually work out what's going on and who's hitting who and who's landing where.
Which is important.
But it's that they're not spending too long on each cut, and they're cutting with the punches, and it's done very, very well.
All right,
That's
I found
Stuart
it.
Baird, isn't it?
I found Jack Nicholson slapping Faye Dunaway in Chinatown. You ready?
She's my daughter. I said I want the truth.
Cool.
She's my sister.
Oh,
She's my daughter.
oh,
My sister, my daughter.
oh, the sweet one
I
too.
said I want the truth.
Yeah,
That's savage.
this is not for kids. This is
I think it's
adult rated.
the second one. The second slap is the stunner.
Yeah, that whole film.
That's fine. That's okay.
She's my daughter.
That one. Oh,
Yeah.
that's savage. That's the rest.
Poor woman.
Well, apparently, she wanted to make it real.
Oh well.
Yeah. She just said, "Give me all you got."
Oh, yeah.
All
Method
right.
actress.
I need to. Right.
But yeah, no, that's my takeaway.
Sorry, yeah,
and I do get a lot of Bourne vibes from it personally. But yeah, what about you, Pete? What's your take on this?
I think it's savage. I think it's. I mean, I remember being in the cinema and having like the toes really curl and like and gripping the seats because it's so intense. I mean, it's intimate, isn't it? It's like you haven't got a lot of room to maneuver. It's like having a fight.
It's like
in a
the
lift.
train in From Rush with Love.
Right. And he's got a machete, and I just think it's really savage, like you say. But then at the same time, Vesper's there, and so there's added jeopardy for Bond because he's got, he needs to finish this guy off. Otherwise, it's both of them for the hard press, isn't it?
And then you also get, sorry to interrupt, but you also get a similar fight in the last Bourne of the trilogy, The Ultimatum. I know there was a fourth one after that, but because there's a fight, I think it's in Madrid with Desh, is it? The assassin guy. And what's her name is involved as well. What's she called? Julia Stiles is there, and she's. This is when he strangles him with like the face flannel, isn't it?
In the bath.
And she's grabbing hold of him, and then he just whacks her to the floor, and that's her done for, But
God, that's such a good bit, yeah.
It's like, they've got, like copied a bit of Bond here.
Well, I think it's because the build-up is so big because they're both on bikes, aren't they? And he's tailing her.
Yeah, that's right.
He then gets on the rooftop.
He
and
does.
kind of sees her
It's brilliant.
and him and the pursuit going on in different buildings.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Leaps off the building, goes through a window, slides across the floor, and just grabs his gun in time.
That's right.
And this guy is a beast, and it feels like he's a much better fighter.
Yeah,
like a trained fighter,
Yeah.
and like if they had that fight 20 times out of 20. The other guy would win like 19 times.
But it's interesting that Julia Stiles was involved there and then got whacked to the floor. And it's similar to this, isn't it? It's like, so she's trying to help here. She's like doing what she can. And she just like, oh no, you're not really helping, love, And it's like,
I think Bourne had the time to say, you're not really helping, love.
Like, just go over there, will you? And just sit in the corner.
I love the
leave it to me.
I love the bit where Bourne gets, because this is the bit where he gets to the books. And like he just gets one book, and he starts punching him through the book.
Oh yes,
and then gets it on its end, and then punches the end into his neck.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted you there. Just
No.
Bourne,
Look, it's a great.
Carry on.
It's a good fight. I don't know why. I still think the best fight in all the Bond franchise, GoldenEye's up there. I still have a thing for the Spectre train fight.
Oh really?
Yeah. I really like it. I really like that fight. Yeah.
God, I didn't think you'd say that.
No,
okay.
and probably because I think Bond only loses that fight because he can't move anywhere. The other guy is just so big. He just can't maneuver around him. It's like size sort of just overtakes.
True,
but there's moments in it where Bond does like some legit bits of boxing. Like he ducks and weaves and then punches him. Like the other guy goes in for another punch. And Bond does a little uppercut.
I always had issues with that fight because it's like, where are all the other diners? Where's everyone gone in that bloody train carriage?
No. My issue is after the fight's done, like you can just take her back to the room and like no captain's going to come knocking on the door and go, "Excuse me, sir, I don't suppose you that was you in that bloodthirsty fight."
But do you know what I mean? It's like they're sitting having dinner for Christ's sake, and it's like there's other tables with people dining. And then all of a sudden, this fight starts, and it's like, where's everyone else gone?
Well, it's like the train carriage coming through the underground with no one on it, right, in Skyfall.
The train carriage with no one on it?
Yeah, when he blows up the train. That,
that
I
one.
do hope that
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
for me.
Well, it was out of service, wasn't it? It wasn't a train in service.
How do you know that?
Well, it must have been. There was no one on it.
Well, it's moving, so it has to be serving something.
They sometimes have them out of service, don't they? They run them through.
All right. Okay, Rob. Whatever.
Anyway.
Whatever you say. Well, that's, I reckon, probably all we have time for that minute.
I think so.
Well, we've covered enough. We've covered Chinatown, Bourne Ultimatum, Skyfall, Spectre, everything but Casino Royale. What? Well, shall we get into a bit of news? There's no point writing these agendas, is there?
Oh no.
Shall we get into a bit of news instead?
I think we should.
Okay, all right.
We just talk bobbins. We have an agenda and we never stick to it.
Bobbins. Well, I want to talk about the audition tapes, Rob.
Yes.
Now, I've loaded up the auditions. I've snapshot about a minute from each one. First off, we've got Sam Worthington.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just play it for you now. Let's just play. This is Sam Worthington auditioning for the role of James Bond. Let's see if this comes through.
I hope your third is where your real talent lies.
When has the rise to the challenge?
Double.
Seven. Got it.
5, 6, bank loses.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, that's the rule I live by. What is the rule that you live by?
The trick is to quit while you're ahead.
All right, okay, hold on a second. Let me hit pause. Well, one rule he doesn't live by is learning the fucking lines, because that's not the line. That's... What is it? There's the very words I live by. The very words I live by. What words do you live by? And he's like, that's the rule I live by.
Yeah, he just goes,
What rules
fuck it,
do you live
doesn't he?
by? Yeah.
You
So-
can't- I know, you think he... And
What rule do you live
clearly,
by?
none of these people have watched Goldeneye as many times as we have, because you can just reel all this stuff off in Pierce's voice perfectly. All the intonation, everything. Like, none of them have got a fucking clue, quite
So
frankly.
that's also interesting. I mean, we've seen the hair. It's kind of boy band hair.
Bloody bird's nest. I mean,
he's
you think
walked-
you put a comb through it.
He walks on Banco Cobber, walks into it almost like doing up his jacket,
Yeah.
but with a Radiohead t-shirt underneath. Like, you didn't even put a shirt on.
No.
No shirt. No.
Appalling.
All right, let's
I mean,
see.
physically, I'd say he's not bad looking.
Hmm.
He's certainly better than some of the others. But,
Let's see how... We just got a couple more seconds of his audition. Hold on.
Your accent is Georgian.
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia.
Not recently. Fuck it. Your accent is Georgian. In fact, your accent... What's your name again? My name is Bond, James Bond.
Senior Onatov.
Oh, God.
Your accent Georgian.
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia.
Not recently. Occasionally I like to drop in. And shoot in, shoot out.
It's very different now. A land of opportunities.
Alright. With a Ferrari in every garage.
I mean, all right, okay. You get the idea. But he must have been really nervous.
well,
Or
I've-
just
yeah, of course.
got the call last minute and said,
Yeah.
right, I gotta fuck.
Well, I mean, I think any of us doing an audition for James Bond is nerve-wracking.
Bond, fuck it.
Can you imagine having to do those lines?
Bond, James Bond. What's your name again? Fuck it, I'm Bond. That's the bit I
it's-
like.
it's
Where he
so-
goes, what's your name again? Fuck it, I'm Bond.
You think he'd do, as an actor, I'm assuming this guy is an actor, you'd think he'd do something to disguise his strong
Wor-
Aussie accent,
I
wouldn't
don't
you?
think he ever bothered. I mean, he does the Avatar films. So I think he's really Aussie in those.
I mean, George was Australian, but at least he tried to disguise his Aussie accent in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't sound like that, mate, you know, he wasn't coming across all like that. And I said, for Christ's sake, can't you just like tone it down a bit, you know?
Banco Cobber.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, with that
We have some Australians listening, but that's...
I've got nothing against the Aussies. I think they're lovely people, but you know, if you're playing
most
James
of them
Bond,
are lovely people.
if you're playing James Bond, he's not Australian and doesn't have an Aussie
I
accent.
think you got to put a shirt on, at
Oh,
least,
and
for
comb
an
your
audition.
hair.
Well, look,
I mean, the state of his hair. Did you see it?
so that's interesting with the hair. So when I saw Cavill's audition and what's the other? Rupert Friend. They
Yeah.
both have the kind of long braided back hair.
Yeah, the mop.
And it reminded me of the Masters snooker final, Rob. You remember the Masters snooker final
No.
2004 between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Paul Hunter?
No.
Okay, I'll pull up a photo. But that was the snooker final was the microcosm of everything that was going on with hair back in that. And that was
Oh, really?
2004. So I Googled it. I'm like, what year was that final? Because it was famous because these were the pretty boys of snooker. Right. It was like David Beckham versus David Beckham 2 of snooker. And they both had the same haircut, the hair
Really?
pulled back with the braids.
I remember
sure.
a lot of people had mullets back then. I don't remember this like sort of
Yeah.
slick back,
All right.
shoulder length look.
Well, I'll pull up a photo. I want to say, do you want to vamp about who have we got next?
We've got Anthony Starr. We haven't done him.
Oh,
have
do you want
we?
to do? Oh, but you've not heard of Anthony Starr. have you?
No, I haven't got a clue who he is.
You didn't see all of these auditions before I showed you them as you came
No,
in.
well, I just thought, what do I want to watch those for? I mean, we know who was Bond. It was Daniel.
It's not like we're doing a podcast.
It's like,
about
why
it.
do we want to sit and watch these awful people? We know they're going to
All
be
right.
shocking.
Okay, so there's Paul Hunter. He won it. You can see his
Oh, yeah.
braided hair.
Okay.
Now, he played O'Sullivan. And there's no pictures of O'Sullivan typically, but they both had that haircut. And that sums up that
Did you
era.
have that haircut, Pete?
No.
Did you have hair then?
I would have dreamed of having something that I could sweep back.
Well,
Wistfully.
this is a long time ago. I'm assuming you did have hair then.
Well, yeah, 22. Yeah, I would have had some semblance of hair.
Yeah.
I was probably desperately holding on to it even back then.
Oh, bless
Cobber.
you.
Banco Cobber. Right, all right, let's do the Anthony. So where were we? Anthony Starr, who neither of us had heard of before this audition. He walks in. Let's see if we can play that.
Your accent. Georgian?
Very good, Mr. Bond. Have you been to Russia?
Not recently. I used to drop in occasionally, shoot in and out,
Well, it's very different now. A land of opportunity.
with a Ferrari in every garage.
Not quite.
All right, okay, all right. I mean,
Garage.
What? Oh. So what is worse, not turning up in a shirt or saying the word garage?
Saying the word garage.
Ferrari
Most
and
definitely.
I don't think he's an American though.
I mean, it's garage.
Garage.
I mean, you'd even get away with garage. But
Garage,
that's a bit,
garage,
but it's certainly
but it's
not
not
garage.
garage.
That's American.
Yeah.
That's what the guys
Look,
in the States
it
say.
also doesn't help that they decided to do this in a fucking Premiere Inn. Right? I don't know what the bloody hell they're doing auditioning in this. Yeah, look, he's just standing in the doorway of this Airbnb by the looks of it. It's not any... Look, have you seen Casino Royale's audition with Daniel Craig?
I have seen that one a long time ago, yeah.
And he's actually doing lines from Casino Royale. So that's, he's doing the Vespa train
Right, yes.
dialogue. I do hope you gave your parents hell for that. But it's properly lit. It's got lighting, makeup, people behind cameras. It's
Well, I
got
think
set
she'd
design.
made up her mind before she even got
This
him
one,
into
they
it.
went down to the Ibis. Just right, stick your mobile phone on. Come on in.
So not the Dorchester then. They didn't book out a suite
I doubt it.
for a week.
I doubt it.
They're
So
usually
that's
done at
interesting.
Pinewood though. These things. I would have thought it would be in there.
That's what Anthony Starr said to his agent on the way out of the Ibis. Like, why aren't we in
Well, I
Pinewood?
mean, Pinewood Studios, yeah. That's where you think if you're doing an audition, you go to Pinewood.
That's exactly what I would think as well.
Ah,
Right, was there anything left of this guy?
Anthony. Oh, I hope not.
Let's see if there was anything.
Your accent is...
Oh, okay, hold on. This is Rupert Friend. All right, so I'm just going through the tape here.
So
Got
we've just heard Anthony Starr.
That was Anthony Starr. So Rupert Friend. You don't know who Rupert Friend is either, do you?
No, we haven't even talked about Anthony Starr yet, though, have we?
Well,
really?
sorry. What are your thoughts on Anthony
Well, he's
Starr?
far too young for a start.
And how
far
old was
too
he?
young.
How old was he when he did?
Well,
this?
you could just see he looked young,
Mm-hmm.
and his eyes were far too far apart.
Well, Cavill was only 22 or something. When
Yeah,
he
he's
did
far
his.
too young as well. But he had a better look though, although he was still a bit of a pretty boy look, which I think he's still. I don't think he's right for it even now.
Don't you think Pierce was a
personally.
pretty boy?
No, Pierce
No?
had that tough edge to him that Bond needs to be a killer. You don't, you got to have that. You've got to have, otherwise, you can't believe in them to be a killer. And even Roger, I think, had that. Roger wasn't a pretty boy. You could see he did have a little bit of a tough edge. There's a certain look that they've all, in my opinion, I think that all of them have had that look, and it's only certain people who have that look. For me, well, we talked about him last week, didn't we? What's his name? Who was in Bourne?
Matt Damon?
No, not Matt Damon.
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen. He's got the look. He had
Got
the look. Luke Evans has the look.
Mm-hmm.
He had been a favourite of mine for years. He's too old now. I mean, he's your age. He's far too old.
Well, Anastasia said that she can't watch Pierce Brosnan because he's too dreamy.
What?
Which I would always say, like, that's the biggest compliment anyone could ever pay me. If I was Bond, someone would go, look, I can't believe you're Bond. I'm like, why not? Because you're just too...
Does she think he's dreamy when he
too
shoots...
goddamn fucking good looking.
Does she think he's dreamy when he shoots Elektra
In the
face in cold blood?
And then just says, I never miss.
Yeah.
Who's he saying that to himself?
I think that's bloody good when he does that.
Oh,
And
that's
it
my
shows-
favourite. One of my
it shows
favourite.
Pierce that
favourite.
he can do it. He
Yeah.
can do the brutal stuff. You
Love
know?
it. Yeah. I was thinking about that today. Because you'll see that. You'll go to that room, won't you, when you're in Istanbul? You'll go up
Yes.
the tower.
Yes.
Is it Maiden's Tower?
Yeah.
When
Well, that's probably a set at Pinewood, but we'll see the outside.
No.
Did they film inside it?
Wow, it looks remarkably similar.
I bet it was a set for all the lighting and everything. I think it was just
possibly.
the external.
That's a good question. Well, I tell you who's going to be answering that is Zed from Tie Another Day, because he wrote about it on my blog. I should really read it. Anyway.
But yeah, Anthony Starr, yeah, so that's all I had to say about him, really.
Okay, well, who else? We had Rupert Friend.
Friend,
Right,
we
let's see if
need,
let's see if this is Rupert Friend. Let's see if that loads. Hold on.
Georgian?
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia?
Not recently, but I used to drop in occasionally. Shooting out.
It's very different now. A land of opportunity.
With a Ferrari in every garage.
Yes, he says garage right.
That belongs to a friend.
Tip for your friend. The French registration plates for this year's model start with the letter L. Even the counterfeit ones.
Okay, all right. So I think the trouble that these guys have doing this audition, Pierce just nails it, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, Pierce. By the way,
Well, he's far more
anyone
experienced.
Anyone that is thinking Pierce was a bit of a wishy-washy, too dreamy Bond, compared to Craig afterwards, who came in and just absolutely smashed it with Casino Royale. Just go back and watch this in GoldenEye. Just watch this whole sequence and then watch these auditions and go, oh, actually, Pierce just flaws it, doesn't he?
He nearly got it in '86.
Mm-hmm.
And he was experienced then from the TV series, whatever it's called, Remington Steele.
Yeah.
And then he had another series and he had X number of years going on after Living Daylights of acting and experience, blah blah blah, where he was thinking, if only I got it, and then he got it, and he was like, this is it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't gonna let himself down. He was like, he'd been preparing for it for years, so it's not surprising he knocked it out of the park, really, I think, in GoldenEye. And even more so, I think, in Tomorrow Never Dies, because Pierce, bless him, he was slightly nervous when he did GoldenEye, because he didn't know what the public would think of him. And I think that does show a little bit in his performance in GoldenEye, personally. And I think when he did Tomorrow Never Dies, by then he knew that the public liked him, and it showed in his performance. He was much more sure of himself. He was much more confident in the way he walked, the way he delivered his lines, everything, and he was just fantastic in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Do you think he was worried that people wouldn't think he's dreamy enough?
I think he was just worried that people might hate him and say he was the worst Bond ever.
Well, thank God we got Pierce when we did.
Yeah.
And in a way, it must be tough for these guys. Like, we're poking holes at these guys, but to try and emulate or do something different with that dialogue. So Daniel Craig doing the audition that we see on YouTube, it looks good because that's new material. He's not redoing GoldenEye dialogue.
No,
so
but
if Daniel Craig sat down there in the fucking Premiere Inn and reeled off a load of, with bad lighting, with 2004 hair, braided back, you would all just go, crikey, blimey, please don't let Craig do this.
But the thing is,
get Pierce back.
but we've seen
he can run through
these.
walls still. He's 50, he can do it.
We've seen these on the Blu-rays, and they've always traditionally done the From Russia with Love scene.
Yeah.
You know, that's the scene they do. So anyone could just sit and watch From Russia with Love and learn all the lines and try and do an impression of Sean Connery, you know, and just see what they think.
Do you know? I think I've said this before on the show, but what I always thought would be funny is if they call these actors in for an audition, and instead of doing the From Russia with Love scene or the GoldenEye dialogue, just go, right, we're gonna do the Goldfinger one today, where Dink's gonna come in. You're gonna say you're gonna say not now, and then she's gonna go, and then you're gonna pivot her like with the shoulders, and then slap her on the ass. Right, ready? Okay, go. And then just watch their face, watch the actor's face to see if they're actually if it's a wind up. All right, the next one, be like Martin Campbell will come in and go, right, okay, Henry, okay. Now you see that girl on the beach down there, yeah? Mm-hmm. You're gonna take the bra off, strangle with her. Wrap it around her neck,
Marie,
and say, "Who's your connection?" Now, action, and like just watch his face just to see if he goes with it or what.
Where is Ernest Stavro Blofeld? Speak up, darling. I can't hear you.
Yes, I got something I want to get off your chest. That would be
brilliant.
That's what I would do. Okay, so shall we get to the haymaker? We have the Henry Cavill audition.
Oh, God.
Right, and let's have a look, see if this is going to work. Let's cue this up.
So tell me,
Oh,
what
nice.
words you live by?
That's still... Oh, this is it.
Quit while you're ahead.
This is it.
I never learned that trick. Perhaps you'll show me how it's done. Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. And you?
The same.
And how'd you take it?
Straight up. With a twist. Thank you. Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Then you're on the top.
On it up.
On the top.
Your accent. Georgian.
Very good, Mr. Bond. You've been to Russia?
Not recently. Used to drop in occasionally. Shoot, in and out.
It's very different now. A land of opportunity.
With a Ferrari in every garage.
Yes. He
That's
says
the
garage,
most
right?
friend.
Okay. So he gets points for garage. So does Rupert Friend and Sam Worthington. How would you... Actually, that's a point. How would you rank these, like, top to bottom, best to worst?
Oh, God. I mean, they're all shocking, aren't they? They really are. They're appalling. I mean, I think...
What did you think of Cavill's
Rupert
edition?
Friend, I mean, after the bit that you played, he got so quiet in that.
That's not on him though. That's just the mic or the audio. He's not.
Is it? I thought he was mumbling later on in that.
But that's
edition.
something you can fix though.
Well, yeah, but I was like, come on, speak up. Can't hear you, for God's
Do you
sake.
think they should do that in the film? Like,
Yeah.
the name's Bond. James Bond. Speak up, mate.
Speak up. It'd be like the beginning of, what was it? Monty Python's Life with Brian, remember? When it zoomed, Jesus is preaching and it zooms all the way back. And Gwen Taylor's like, oh, it's Brian's mother, isn't it? Speak up! Oh, this is boring. Let's go to Stoning.
Peter Well.
But, yeah, I mean... Rupert Friend, I mean, he had the chiseled looks, but he was far too young. Too young. And he had a sort of, I don't know, a bit of an old Etonian look about him, which disturbed me. Although, obviously, I know Bond is meant to be
Rupert
old
Friend
Etonian.
was really good in Homeland right up until, I don't know, season 4 or 5 when he got shot, or no, he got suffocated, and then they made him into a retard for the final season, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm out. But up until then, he was brilliant.
I think...
Cavill, though.
Cavill, he's far too young, again. I mean, he is good looking. He's got chiseled looks. There's no denying that. But I think he's got a sort of pretty boy look, as I said.
Yeah.
So
so
for
has
me,
Pierce.
I don't
Pierce
think
has
he's
got a pretty
Bond.
boy.
Yeah, but Bond's got more of an edge to him. And the thing about Cavill, he's so wooden in this. He's unbelievable.
I've
delivery.
I don't like how he delivers vodka martini because
No.
he's like vodka martini, chicken stirred, and he does it in all 3 takes. So there's 3 of these, right? I'm like, mate, you got a fucking plane to catch. This is like one of the most important lines. Don't fuzz your way through it.
And when he says,
vodka martini, chicken not stirred, you.
When he says shoot in and out, he goes shoot in and out. Or shoot.
But he does different
It doesn't
takes.
scan
but
properly.
so he does this. There's 3 takes on this video, so he
Right.
does like 3 interpretations. But look, loads of people love Cavill, and actually Henry Cavill himself, in each interview I've seen him do, looks like a really, really nice guy.
Oh, I'm sure he
Yeah,
is. There's no
but-
denying that. But I don't think
it's-
he'd be very good as Bond, personally. And
I've
he was
never-
far too young in this.
I've never
audition.
rated him as an actor.
But I think
Apart from Mission Impossible, which
rating
you've
them
not
all,
seen.
I would say. I mean, it's hard, but I would probably say Rupert Friend might be joint with Henry Cavill, and then the other 2, God. I mean, I'd probably put Anthony Starr there, and then Sam Worthington at the bottom, or maybe the other way round.
See, I'm actually going to go Sam Worthington at the top.
Really,
Only
despite
because
that strong Aussie accent.
I think he's trying something different with it. So he's coming in, he's moving in, he's like rolling a bit of a shoulder. He's not just stood like Rupert Friend.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
not
is
as wooden as the others. Is
Rupert
he?
Friend. So this is the thing with Bond, and that's what they say about it. It's like you either have it or you don't.
Absolutely.
Right? And Rupert Friend, in this audition at least, is giving probably the best audition, but you can just see he doesn't have it. Now,
Well,
Sam
if he remembered his lines. That would...
Sam Worthington might have stumbled his way through Fuck It Bond, James Bond Cobber. But there's a part of me that thinks he's got something else going on, something different that he could have brought to the role. And Henry Cavill doesn't have it. And I don't know what Anthony Starr is, let alone whether he's got it. And the fact that he fucked up Garage is he's at the bottom. But I will give him points. It must have been hard to do in that hotel room because that was not an easy setting. So, anything else to add to that, Rob?
No.
Shall we crack on with the minutes of Casino Royale?
Yep.
We are on to minute 82, and minute 82 is brought to you by Prop Store. Doctor Who charity online auction is in association with the BBC Studios. Yes, there's an auction with You like Doctor Who, Rob?
Not particularly.
I knew it. This auction feature, for the sake of the sponsor, could you maybe like it? No, don't worry. This auction features over 100.
Can't help it. I'm sorry.
This auction features over 150 lots of iconic Doctor Who costumes and monster costumes and companion costumes straight from the BBC studio archives. It's shaking up to be one of the most thrilling auctions that they've ever hosted at Prop Store. The catalogue is also live at propstoreauction.com. We'll leave links in the show notes to that, and the bidding runs from February the 11th to the 25th. Okay, so where did we leave it on the minutes, Rob? We have Obanno, the screenshot is there. He's reaching for the gun.
Like
He's in the
literally middle of
chokehold.
the fight, isn't
Let's
it?
go for it. All right, let's take it. Take it away. I'm going to go pee. Let's see if I can pee in a minute. How we doing?
Dead.
And I'm not getting the bodies down here, and I want them to get rid of them. Do that now. Go.
Oh, there we have it, Rob. There we have it. An exciting end. Bond is nursing his wounds. He's had a fight. He's been through the mill, hasn't he?
certainly
This time
has.
round. So, your takeaways from this minute, Rob?
Yeah, well, that just seems pretty disturbing, isn't it? Watching his legs kick like that,
Yeah.
as he struggles to breathe. That's. I don't think we've seen anything quite like that before.
Very
in
visceral.
Bond.
Yeah, it goes on a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, we haven't seen someone suffering like that while they're desperately trying to breathe. We've never seen that. It's always been pretty quick in Bond. They've never focused on the actual dying bit.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. But also, he's he's done Lashif a favour, really, hasn't he? By killing these two guys. I mean, Lashif could
Massive
just sort
favour.
of like go off now and he'll be all right now. He wouldn't have to worry, would he?
Massive
Until
favour.
Mr. White catches up with him.
Well, we'll get into that in future minutes where Bond goes to to Mathis. Oh, yeah, Lashif's going to be worried about who's coming round next. If I was Lashif, I'd be like, thanks, pal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, taking those out. Nice one. They looked really hard as well. Yeah, thanks for doing that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of blood on Bond's shirt.
Yeah.
When he gets up, and again, that is new in Bond. Seeing that amount of blood.
Well,
and
Timmy had blood, right?
not that much,
But not
a
this
little bit
much.
on his face. It's not like blood, a shirt drenched in
Yeah.
it like this. This is
Yeah.
new, and they had to again. The censor, I think, things had changed in the years. I mean, even looking at GoldenEye, as we just said, that brutal fight with Sean Bean and Pierce towards the end. You don't see any blood in that really. He's got a little bit on his coming out of his nose at the end of it. It's very little. It's not all on their clothes and stuff. And again, they had to be careful for the censor. They couldn't have too much blood. But then I think in the next 10 years, things had changed, and by 2006, the censor had become a little bit more lenient towards how much blood was allowed for a 12 certificate.
Now you can headbutt Faye Dunaway.
Oh, do anything now. I mean, anything
In a
goes
15.
now. But yeah, I mean, I definitely picked up on that. Yeah.
So, we have a couple of things that we looked at online. We're not sure of the chokehold that Bond has him in here. I Wikipedia'd? Yes, did all that with chokeholds. And there's like 10 different chokeholds. There's like an anaconda chokehold. There's a triangle choke. I noted down rear naked choke.
Okay.
That's probably the one that I don't want to go for.
No.
As in, if ever I'm going to get choked out, someone being rear naked choke is the least of my appeals. So and also I googled how long does it take to choke someone out, because if you go onto the YouTube comments, Rob, there is a whole separate debate going on between how long it takes to choke someone out.
Really?
Yeah, like that one guy goes, you'll never choke him out in that time, and then there's like, I looked at all the replies, I went through like 100 of them, and they were all like, I'm an MMA fighter, clearly you've never done jiu-jitsu, and blah 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 blah.
Really?
So the common consensus is that it takes about 10 seconds if you got it right to do it.
Oh my God.
As an average throughout all the different
chokeholds.
chokeholds.
It to be. If you're being choked, you don't want it to be long drawn out, do you?
Yeah, no.
You just want to die.
Yeah. Especially if it's a rear naked choke. Or none of them. The triangle choke doesn't sound too bad. It sounds like a playful choke. So that's interesting. I did think that if they really wanted to get this up in terms of the ratings, in terms of the put it a 15 to an 18, Vesper could have picked up the sword and then just fucking sliced his head off. No, she wouldn't have been able to do that in that position, would she? She would have sliced both their heads off.
Well, let's not go there. We don't want heads being cut off in Bond. Thank you very much.
But she's got the sword right there. I mean, the sword is
we don't
closer.
want to go there.
Yeah.
It is there.
The machete.
I don't want to talk about that because I get squeamish at things like that. I couldn't stand Bullet Train with it, like bodies being cut into and that sort of thing.
That's not going to be anything Bondian for next week, is it? So the most removed you have been from Bond in this entire podcast. Not the sight of blood. Okay.
I don't mind the sight of blood. It's people's heads being chopped off I don't like.
Do you not like Highlander?
No.
You've seen it?
Yes, long time ago.
Oh, Highlander's so brilliant.
Yeah.
It's
We've
my
discussed
favourite.
this before at length.
Yeah, I've discussed it with Calvin
You
Dyson
certainly
at
have.
length.
This is why we don't hear from him anymore.
Yeah.
Bored the shit out of him, poor guy.
So it was the last party I had here, garden party. Calvin came.
Not the last one, because I came to that. He
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
here.
no.
The
So
one
no,
before.
one before that, and it was one of these parties where I didn't get around to speaking to everyone, or in fact hardly anyone, because I was just busy filling up people's glasses the entire time. Anyway, it comes to the end of the night. I've managed to fill up my own glass by then quite a few times, and Calvin goes, "Pete, I'm going." I was like, "Oh, Calvin, mate, what a bummer! I didn't get a chance to speak to you."
Did he speak to anyone, or was he just sat in the corner?
He was. He sat
Just
talking.
ignoring, like-
He sat. Oh, okay, let me take it back. He sat talking to Views from Mark for about 2 hours about God knows what. just
Oh,
solidly.
okay. So he
talking.
wasn't just left on his own.
No,
then.
no,
You-
no,
you did,
no.
At least you looked after
Yeah,
him.
no.
that's all right
Views
then.
from Mark was talking, but
Okay.
he goes like, "I've got to go, Pete." I said, "Look, I'll walk you to the train station," which is about a 10-15 minute walk. And he's like, "Oh, God, all right." Then. Anyway, I walked and I suggested the review for his channel he should do Highlander, but he's never seen Highlander, so for the whole entire walk, I went through the plot thesis.
And
of,
we wonder why he
Highlander.
hasn't been back.
Yeah.
We
And-
wonder why.
Right at the end, when I got to the train station, I literally just got to the entirety of Highlander. I went through it beat by beat, scene by scene almost, because I know that film off by heart. It's a fantastic movie. And he said, "I'll see you later, and I'll never call you again."
Well, if Calvin's listening, I just want to say I'm sorry about my friend. I do apologise for Pete. I really do. He's obviously got no self-awareness, no social skills whatsoever.
Look,
So please, come to the next one, and I'll talk to you, and I won't bore you shitless.
Highlander. Everybody should have seen Highlander. I mean, it's got Sean Connery in it. You would have thought. He does Bond adjacent reviews on his channel.
He does.
Highlander's right
yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
All
only
right.
joking. I'm only joking.
We have also just worthy of mention as Bond is nursing his wounds in front of the mirror
so
there.
this scene then goes into the next minute as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to sort of talk a bit
But
about that then. But
just a real. There's a touch of he pours himself a whiskey into a tumbler, and it's worthy of note that you can buy these tumblers on the 007 store. It's the James Bond Grasmere double old-fashioned tumbler by Cumbria Crystal.
Really, I didn't know that.
120 sheets. It will set you back.
Per tumbler.
Yeah. One tumbler, 120 sheets.
I'll stick with my Stuart Crystal, I think.
You're Mr. Men Mug.
No. I've got crystal glassware for posh parties.
Fair enough. Well, look, we've only got a couple of minutes left on the show, and Roger's looking at me like he needs to get out. So let's get to some listener mail, shall we, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got one from Sifu Lamas. Alex Lamas. Always say yes to adventure. Nice one again, chaps. He says, just on a side note, the movie Groundhog Day is actually a Buddhist film, because we spoke about this last week. We haven't done the weather yet, Rob. Have we? Haven't done your weather.
Well, we'll come to that.
Yeah. The director, Harold Ramis, was a practicing Buddhist, and he wanted to make a film that expresses Buddhist philosophy, but not obviously so. Groundhog Day represents a cycle of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, and only through enlightenment can one escape samsara.
Well, there you go.
So, look, I'd argue that you can escape samsara with an 8-pack of London Pride and a few episodes of Yellowstone, but there you go. That's just me. Anastasia's away all week, so
You're indulging.
Yeah, I actually got my cowboy hat in the lounge, got the beer, got the Doritos.
You have a cowboy hat?
Yeah. I'll show it to you at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought it from Texas. It's fucking proper cowboy hat, so I've been watching.
And who else have we heard from? We've heard from someone else, haven't we?
Yeah. Carl Barbu.
Barbo.
I'm just going to say Carl from now
It's
on.
Barbo.
Barbo. But it looks like it's Carl Barbeautiful.
Well, I've asked him. He said it's Barbo.
But it's spelt Carl Barbeau.
Well, it's pronounced Barbo.
All right, Carl Barbo.
Oh, as in water.
Good, yeah, well, I always think it's looks like it's going to say beautiful, Carl Bar beautiful, and that's how I know him and think of him.
Oh.
Thought of you, he says, in the shower this morning.
Ooh.
I assure you, not in that way.
Ah.
When I turned the tap to very cold for a few seconds at the end. And you're right about the Austrians being oddly comfortable flopping their dongs. Well, I was at the Florida place over the weekend. Lars, I don't know who he is. He's a heavy-set older gentleman who insists on wearing the old banana hammock. It's a bold sartorial choice, and I keep my poolside attire PG-13.
Ah.
Yeah. So there's...
Oh, he's got some more, hasn't he? You said?
No, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, no, those are my thoughts.
Oh, I thought that was
actually,
Carl
no.
continuing.
No, I think that's me just replying to him.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, look, it's easy. Getting into the cold shower. Well, you don't get into the cold shower. So it's a warm shower when you start, Rob. Right?
Mm.
Do you want to try it? Do you want this as your homework for next week? You do one cold shower.
I'm not doing a cold shower.
Because
I have heating. I have I should spend £2,000 on a new boiler. You think I'm just gonna have a fucking cold shower?
Yes. Because Rob,
This is what I do. This is what you go and swim in the sea for a bit of cold that's meant to be good for you. I don't need that in my house.
How often do you swim in the sea?
Well, maybe once a year.
There you go.
Twice a year.
Right. This is something I was thinking about this. Anyone that wants to live like Bond, one step at a time, 1 minute at a time. One
a cold shower in the morning.
A cold shower is something that everyone can do.
Yeah.
He does it in the books, and you're going back to Fleming's Bond as well.
Well, I'll tell you how I get on with that then.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to hear some weather?
Okay, I did promise you.
So
you could do
you
some
did.
weather. All right.
You can't stop me from. Guess when we'll see the sun again, Pete?
When will we see the sun again, Rob?
Next Monday. So we're recording this on Tuesday.
Jesus
We've got to
Christ.
wait till next Monday before we'll see the sun again. This is ridiculous. We're all going to need one of those lamps that makes you happy.
One of those lava lamps.
No, there's like sun lamp things.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? No,
No.
those things I mean? I think they're for people
We
who
haven't
suffer
seen
from...
sun for a long time.
Well, we have. We did see it last week.
Oh, I didn't.
It's so bloody cold, isn't it?
Oh, it's
But
miserable.
Pete, the sun did rise at 7:21 today. Although you couldn't see it because it was so bloody cloudy. And the sun set at 5:10, so that's good. You know, the days are getting a bit longer. It's the last knockings of winter.
You always sound optimistic. I was thinking about you today as I was freezing my bollocks off walking Roger. I'm thinking, I'm fucking sick. It's like I'm living in like 1940s wartime.
It's been
with all
awful.
the mud, all the misery, all the damp, all
I
the
know.
grey.
It's been
and
shit.
No vitamin D.
Yeah.
Anywho.
4 degrees is all we got.
I'm like,
today.
how do you get so optimistic about the weather when it's
We have to,
perpetually
don't you?
miserable?
Otherwise, you'd have to. Otherwise, I mean, look what happens in bloody Scandinavia. They're all topping themselves, aren't they, up there? So you've got to, haven't you?
If you're in Scandinavia and you're listening, hang on in there.
Yeah, please do.
Don't wait, hang on in there.
Because
Is
their
a bad
days are
choice of
even
words.
shorter than us, you know? We think we've got it bad.
Look,
But I wonder if there's some joyful soul who started the countdown to Christmas. I bet there is. I bet there's someone. I'm just counting down until the clocks go forward.
look, Roger's also counting down because he needs to go.
Anyway, that's enough about the weather.
He needs to go park his lunch. Let's play us out. We've got the email. If you want to email the show, if you want to come on and talk about the weather, therewillbebond@gmail.com. There's the newsletter that goes out every Thursday.
yeah.
Rob, you're kind enough to proofread that for me these days before I send it out. And
Yeah, you can sign up from taylorswithlove.com
That's right.
on the blog.
.co.uk, that's one. YouTube. We're going to actually put the podcasts out on YouTube from now on as well, so you'll enjoy that. Rob's brought a book round, actually. We're going to have a look at his book.
Yeah, we'll do a video of that later.
Yeah, we'll do another book review.
Yeah.
A couple of people have bought the Bond map, the London Bond map, Rob, so I'm going to give these guys a thank out. Robert Brown. Surely not the Robert
he's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Not
this
Robert
one.
Brown.
Robert Brown and Craig Moore, you both bought the map. Thank you very much, and you get a thank you from M. That will be in the edit on the podcast.
And is that going to be Robert Brown's then?
Oh, God. Thank you, 007. No, it's not. That's
Bernard Lee. You'll have to get
Bernard Lee,
You'll have to get a new one for Robert Brown.
Robert Brown is. I know you won't let me down. I'm gonna have to squeeze in a Robert Brown thing.
We'll have to dig something out.
Thank you, Rob, for coming round. That's been
pleasure.
Minutes 81 and 82.
You can find me on Instagram
at
Fetcham Lad.
There you
77.
go. And until next time.
Bye bye.
1 hour and 3 minutes.
Oh.